Hey everyone, this is Señor Stationery and today's review is on the Pilot Myu 701 fountain pen. Thank you Mr. Legoman. It's been a while since we've seen you and you truly brought us a magnificent Japanese vintage treasure. This is a very sought after and one of the most rarest and most collectible fountain pens made by Pilot, the Myu 701. As you can see, it's a compact pen. It's not a usually larger pen because it's divided into parts. You actually open the cap and post it on the back to make it a bit longer, as well as a more fairly wider length for writing. As you can see, the whole pen is all fully metal. The pen is stainless steel, has a chrome ring accent, and the main chrome clip, which is pretty sturdy, and that's pretty good. So this means that the pen wasn't that much used. And it has as well a black dot here accent, a plastic probably pasted there, and overall it's fully stainless steel, very nicely polished, a nice finish. This brings a lot to mind the Parker Jotter line of pens. It's probably maybe around that length, a little bit maybe less, if we imagine that Jotter has also the clicker button. So in this case, this I will assume this pen is almost as close as in length as a Jotter, but it's more wider, as you can notice. So this pen looks like it was slightly used. I found it luckily on a flea market, really for a steal. So this is a really nice and wonderful treasure to have found randomly on a flea market. So let's take a look at all the special aspects of this pen. Well, it has metal clip, which is sturdy, as you can see. Nice streamlined design, modern. It's interesting considering that this pen was produced between the 1970s to probably sometime around the 80s. So this was a fairly modernist style, and yet still very sleek and contemporary. And as I said, this is one of the most sought after pens from Pilot. So let's take a look. What branding does Pilot have? Well, Pilot doesn't exactly has a logo, but they have the typical font Pilot here, as you can notice, has Pilot printed. Then if we look on the side, but we need to open the pen, we pull up the cap, you'll see here some teeth that keep the cap posted. And here's what we're looking for, the special markings. As you can see, we have the M and then has an H474. This tells us that this is an M nib, as well as the code H474 means the H is from the city where it was produced. Right now I cannot forget, but it's a city or the factory located in H city or H facility. And the 474 means that it was produced in April 1974. So this is probably one of the earliest models. I believe this pen was introduced in the early 70s, so this is probably one of the earlier models, as you can notice. There are other variants of this model, some that have stripes, others that probably have some other effects or design on barrel, same as other very sought after Pilot rollerball or ballpoint pens from the 70s. But this in particular, the streamline and inlaid nib, as you can see, this brings a lot to mind the design of the inlaid nibs from Schiffer that also they introduced around the 1960s and 70s. But this one even looks more sleeker. As you can see, it's truly a magnificent metal piece. As you can see, you have the breather hole, you have the tip of the nib, and the whole body is all steel, stainless steel. And if we look on the bottom, well, we have the plastic part, and there are no markings. It's fairly simple. If we open, let's take a look. If I pull off the cap and then we unscrew the lower, smaller part, you'll see that, well, you can notice the screw. Then you have the ring. The ring is loose, so you have to be careful not to lose this, or else the cap will not have like a stopper when you post it, so you have be very careful not to lose the ring. Then here we drop this out, and then we have the original converter. As you can see, the converter is metal with some plastic inner parts. You have the plastic, the rubbery sack, and the button, the vacuum type suction effect button for getting the ink. And it says, as you can notice, press here, Pilot, made in Japan. So this is pretty much all original and genuine, as you can see. If we look inside, I don't know if you can notice, well, it's kind of dark, but well, you just basically can fit in the sack or the converter, and that's it. Then we screw this back again, the smaller part, as you can see, till it stops with the ring somewhere here. Here we go. Here's the ring, fully stopped, and either we close it to keep it in our pockets, which is a nice design because, well, the design is fairly compact, so it will fit well a nice pocket from a shirt or maybe even pants. But I don't think this clip, this is strong and sturdy, but you could easily bend it on jeans. So I will suggest just like a regular dress shirt probably. I will not suggest using this with jeans. And so if we post it, becomes a more lengthy pen and more comfortable to use. How does this pen feel? Well, it doesn't feel slippery. I in general like steel pens because they don't feel very slippery, but maybe with long writing sessions or maybe some sweating from your hands could probably make it a little bit more slippery. So you just better watch that. But if you don't write that much or you make a few notes, well, you probably won't have much problem. The pen has a nice slight weight, not that much. Again, this is stainless steel, but it's very streamlined. Feels like really good quality considering that this is from the 1970s and many stationery makers still had some faults when manufacturing. But this pen is truly a masterpiece. It's truly a metal gem, as you can see, since the full fact of the design, the streamline, the contemporary. This pen will truly is a beautiful treasure and a must for fountain pen enthusiasts. So let's take a look. Unfortunately, this pen, as I found it on a flea market, I tried unclogging it and I clean it and flush it, but seems like it might have still some ink stuck, and I don't really want to mess it. So what I'm gonna do, so you can have an idea of how well this pen writes, I'm gonna use it as a dip pen. I'm gonna dip it on some black ink here from my Lamy ink bottle and make a little quick writing test for you to appreciate the smoothness and the truly beauty that looks when you write with it, as well as appreciate this really truly beautiful design from this pen. So let's take a look. Here I brought a regular copy paper. Here's my small Lamy ink bottle. So let me just dip a little bit and make some slight writing to give you an idea of how this pen should write. Should it let ink flow freely as it should, but unfortunately it has some dried ink, so I don't really want to mess it up. So let's take a look. Okay, here it is. Now let's take a look. This is the Pilot. Oops, a little too wide. This is an M nib. Pilot Myu. Oh, I need some more ink. Here we go. Pilot Myu 701. It feels pretty wide for a Japanese pen. This M feels fairly like fairly like probably a USM nib. I'm thinking something like a Schiffer, probably like a Schiffer nib, considering that this is also an inlaid nib, and Schiffer also made stainless steel or gold covered nibs, inlaid nibs. So I will say this kind of will probably resemble a Schiffer Imperial steel nib, most likely. So if you want to have an idea of what does this pen write like, well, it's more likely like a Schiffer steel pen. So that's the kind of width that it has. I feel that a Pelican is slightly narrower, so this is fairly wide. This being stainless steel does write fairly smooth and nicely. Even as a dip pen, it's pretty cool and nice. Has a nice, elegant vibe to it. So let's see. It's pretty smooth, really nice. And I like the idea that this being a steel pen, well, the nib is very less likely to get damaged like a gold nib or a steel nib. So a regular cheap steel nib. So this is way more or less likely that it will get bent. This is a truly nicely, beautifully made pen. You feel the quality for a 1970s pen. It does feel really well made. The quality is truly perfect, fully symmetric. The finish of the whole overall steel is really nice. The chrome is also high quality, because considering this being a very old pen, the chrome looks really good, no rust whatsoever. So this was truly a magnificent find, one Sunday errand. So that's why I truly appreciate the beauty of this pen. Let's do some other last writing for you to appreciate. Truly feels quite comfortable. Myu writes pretty smooth. The Myu writes pretty smooth, but fairly thick, as you can see. Wet, fairly wet. Well, this being a dip pen right now, but should be interesting to see what does this pen really write directly from its ink converter. So, oh, and this as well is made in Japan in 1974. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna stop for now. I appreciate for you to taking a look at this magnificent pen. It's truly a beautiful piece of conversation, a great piece of Japanese stationery and design. So will I recommend it? Yes, this is a truly beautiful pen. Unfortunately, these pens, as I've noticed, they go pretty high, between around $250 to probably $300 currently. Maybe you might find a bargain somewhere, or maybe also find one. Be lucky and find a cheap one like me on a flea market. But it's truly a beautiful design piece, fully metal. Even as a dip pen, it's truly beautiful and writes again pretty smooth. The steel is pretty well polished, and you can just feel it when you write. It moves so smoothly, like I will say something like a Schiffer or a Pelican nib, pretty smooth, like buttery smooth. So yes, this is a truly beautiful pen. Those of you who are lucky to possess one will understand. And just the simple fact of holding it and looking it in your hands, it's already a pleasure, because it's truly a magnificent and beautiful pen. It speaks of sturdiness, but at the same time it's a piece that you know that's going to be long lasting and probably for a heirloom. So this was the Pilot Myu 701 pen. I hope you like this review, and again, remember to subscribe for more great and interesting stationery products. And stay tuned and feel free to leave your comments and share your memories if you have any with this pen. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews. Thanks. Bye bye.